The next tool that we're going to look at, or tools really, for image manipulation are going to be contained as cloner tools. Now, cloning may be a new concept to you if you're new to Painter, but at the same time, it should be somewhat familiar to you if you've used other graphics applications like Photoshop. We're going to go over here to our brush selector, and we're going to go up here to this flyout menu and choose Brush Library Painter Brushes. And this way we can get to our Coreal Painter 12 default brush libraries. And the reason why is because we need to be working within a category of brushes known as the cloners. And if we come over here and we look at this list, you'll see the cloners are right here. Now, the interesting thing is when I click on this tool right here, which is the cloner tool, it will automatically load the cloners category. And if we come to the cloners category, you'll see that there are many cloner brushes, and they can do a lot of different things. We're going to start with the straight cloner, which is going to be the one that's going to be most useful for what we're going to be doing right now. And I will say right off the bat that the cloner brush category is capable of doing a lot of really special stuff. And I'm not going to cover all of that in this series. When I do my next Coreal Painter series where I focus very heavily on brushes, I'll come back to the cloner brushes and talk about all the various different things that these cloner brushes can do. But for right now, we're going to focus primarily on just how to use the cloner brush category to move pixels from one place to another in terms of image manipulation. Now, to begin with, let's go over here and work with our Tiger Ref Riff file from our Coreal Painter 12, Chapter 12 work files. And what I want to do is I want to come to Canvas, and I want to go Canvas Size, and we're going to add to the left, say 100 pixels, like so. Say OK. And now you can see that we have 100 pixels over here, but it comes in as white. And the reason why is because our canvas color is white. Well, let's say that we want to clone some of this grass over so that we can continue the grass on for whatever reason. Well, all we need to do is just come over here with our cloner tool selected and the straight cloner brush selected, hold down Alt and then click. And when we click, you'll see that I got that little green dot there. That green dot is telling me that I'm pulling from this area. And now if I hold down Shift and Alt and I click again, this will be my destination point. So now I can begin painting. And what's happening is I'm effectively bringing that information in from these pixels over here to these pixels over here. Now, like I say, if you've used a program like Photoshop before, then this will seem very familiar to you. It's just basically the same thing as using a rubber stamp tool. Now, that said, this program does in fact have a rubber stamp tool, and if we click and hold down, you'll see the rubber stamp tool is right underneath, and you can also see it on the property bar up here. Now, what's the difference between the rubber stamp tool and the cloner tool? Well, the main difference is that when we click with Alt held down, we'll get our first point. If we hold down Shift and Alt and click over here, we'll get our second point and we can begin painting. However, if we simply just hold down Alt and click, we can begin painting at any point in time we want to. We don't need to necessarily click twice in order to enter into this aligned mode. We simply click Alt and then go. And this works very much like the rubber stamp tool works in Adobe Photoshop. So as you can see, this can be a really tremendously useful tool for just expanding out an image and making it appear as if the image just keeps going on and on when in fact the image stopped a little ways ago. Now this, like I say, can be something that you can spend quite some time on to get it exactly the way you want it to be, but the bottom line is it can be a really life-saving, useful tool in certain circumstances. Now, the other thing that we can do here is we can clone from one document to another in the same way. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and close this document out. I'm going to go to File, and I'm going to choose Open, and I'm going to choose Tiger Clone 1, PSD, and we're just going to use the default profile, and we're going to choose Open, Tiger Clone 2, PSD. And use the default profile. So now what we need to do is we need to look at these two side by side, because what we're going to do is we're going to clone from one document to another. Let's say I want to bring some of this grass over here to this grass over here. Well, what I can do is I can go back to my cloner brush, and you can see I just click that on my property bar, hold down Alt and click in the grass over here like so, and then hold down Shift and Alt and click over here. And now as I'm painting, you can see I can paint from one document into another using my cloner tool. Now, like I say, you can clone with any of these that you might want. You can see there's quite a lot of cloners in here. I highly recommend that you check some of these out. The soft cloner is very much like the straight cloner, except it gives you softer edges. So I'll just come back over here, hold down Alt, and then I'll come back over here, hold down Shift and Alt, like so. And now I'll just begin painting. And you can see now I get a softer edge to my cloning, and that just makes it fade in a little bit nicer. So these tools can be really useful for not only cloning parts of a document to other parts of the same document, but parts of a document to parts of another document. And generally speaking, it works very similar to the rubber stamp tool in Photoshop.